Well, silver is one of those investments people think they understand, but usually don't. Most hear precious metals and immediately think of gold. Silver, however, is often overlooked and misunderstood. It's not just a cheaper version of gold. Silver plays a unique role in global economy. On one hand, it's a monetary metal people turn to when trust in paper money weakens. On the other hand, it is an industrial metal used every day in technology, energy, and manufacturing. This combination makes silver both fascinating and complex. In times of economic uncertainty, that complexity is why interest in silver rises. When inflation, debt, or financial instability become concerns, people start looking for assets that behave differently from stocks and bonds. Now that's why so many beginners are asking about silver now. Not because it's trendy or because of price predictions, but because they want to understand how silver fits into a modern portfolio and what their options really are. Hi, I'm Dr. Z. I'm a university professor and a long-term investor. I started this channel to share what I know, what I have learned, and what I'm still learning, so you can make better financial decisions. Before we dive into how to invest, let's firstly get clear on what silver really is. Well, at its core, silver is a store of value. For thousands of years, it has been used as money and as a way to preserve purchasing power. That history is a part of why it still attracts attention today. Unlike gold, much of silver's demand comes from real-world use. It's in electronics, solar panels, medical equipment, and industrial manufacturing. That means it's a price response not just to investors, but to industrial activity as well. Now, this dual role makes silver more volatile than gold. Its price can swing in response to both economic stress and industrial demand, something beginners need to be aware of from the start. It's also important to remember that silver doesn't generate income. It pays no dividend, no interest, or yield. Any return comes purely from price changes over time. So, investing in silver is really about holding an asset that behaves differently from stocks, bonds, or real estates. One that adds diversification but comes with its own risk and trade-offs. Physical silver is the most tangible way to invest. You hold the metal itself rather than a financial product that tracks its price. It comes in common forms, government-minted coins, privately produced rounds, and bars of various sizes. All provides direct ownership of silver. A key practical point is premiums. When you buy physical silver, you pay not just the spot price, but also minting, distribution, and dealer fees. These vary depending on product, demand, and market conditions. Now, storage is another consideration. Some store silver at home, which is convenient but comes with security risks. Others use vaults or storage services, which provide safety but add costs. There's no perfect solution. It's a trade-off. Liquidity is also important. Physical silver can be sold, but not instantly. Dealers or marketplaces are involved, and the sale price may be below spot after fees. Finally, there are risks like theft, loss, or damage. Insurance is an option, but it's another factor to consider. Owning physical silver means taking full responsibility for its safekeeping. Now you may ask, where can people purchase physical silver? Now here are several options. First is APMEX, a large selection of coins, rounds, and bars. JM Bulletin, user-friendly platform for small and large orders. You can also do Provident Metals. It's good for beginners and fractional silver. You can also visit local coin shops or reputable national dealers. Now let's consider the second option, is silver ETFs. Silver ETFs are a simpler entry point for many beginners. An ETF, or exchange-traded fund, trades like a stock and tracks the price of silver or related companies. Not all ETFs are the same. Spot-backed ETFs track physical silver held in storage, while mining ETFs track the performance of silver-producing companies. Even though both are called silver ETFs, they can behave very differently. Here are some example ETFs. Spot-backed ETFs like iShares Silver Trust, SLV, Aberdeen Standard Physical Silver Shares, SIVR. Here are some mining ETFs. Global X Silver Miners ETF, SIL. ETFs are convenient. They can be bought or sold through a brokerage account with no need to worry about storage or security. However, they come with costs. Most charge an expense ratio, and tracking differences mean the ETF may not perfectly match silver price movements. Also, owning an ETF usually doesn't give you physical silver. You gain price exposure, not direct ownership. Finally, ETFs carry market and counterparty risks. They rely on financial institutions and market infrastructure, which is another trade-off to consider. A third option is silver mining stocks. Mining stocks are different. When you buy one, you're buying a share in the company that explores, produces, or processes silver, not the metal itself. Their performance depends partly on silver prices, but also on company management, operational efficiency, and costs. Even if silver rises, a poorly run company can struggle. Mining stocks also carry operational risk. Energy costs, labor, environmental regulations, and geopolitical issues can all impact production and profits. Because of these factors, mining stocks tend to be more volatile than silver itself. They can rise faster during favorable conditions and fall harder in downturns. That volatility can attract investors seeking higher potential gains, but it also amplifies losses. For beginners, it's important to recognize that mining stocks behave more like traditional equities with a higher risk. The three main ways to invest in silver, physical silver, ETFs, and mining stocks, each have distinct characteristics, and understanding these differences is key for beginners. Physical silver gives you direct ownership of the metal. ETFs track silver itself or companies producing it, while mining stocks represents a share in a business rather than the metal. Liquidity varies as well. ETFs and mining stocks are easy to buy or sell through a brokerage account during market hours. Physical silver can be sold, but the process is slower and may involve fees or dealer negotiation. Volatility differs too. Physical silver generally follows the market price of silver. Mining stocks tend to move more sharply, reflecting both silver prices and company-specific factors. ETFs usually fall somewhere in between, depending on whether they track the spot price or miners. Complexity is another consideration. Holding physical silver requires managing storage, security, and resale logistics. ETFs are simpler to manage, though expense ratios and tracking differences matter. Mining stocks require additional research into operations, management, and market conditions. Finally, consider your investment style and risk tolerance. Physical silver suits those who prefer a tangible asset and are patient with storage and security. ETFs are ideal for convenience-focused investors who want exposure without handling the metal. Mining stocks are better for those comfortable with higher risk and familiar with equities, accepting more volatility in exchange for potential upside. By weighing these factors, ownership, liquidity, volatility, complexity, and risk tolerance, beginners can better understand which silver investment aligns with their goals and portfolio strategy. A key lesson is knowing what silver can and cannot do. Expecting it to behave like stocks is a common mistake. Silver doesn't pay dividends or interest. Its value can fluctuate unpredictably. Ignoring premiums and fees is another. Physical silver carries markups, and ETFs has expense ratios. These costs can add up, especially with frequent buying or selling. Over-allocating is risky. Silver can diversify, but concentrating too heavily in one asset increases portfolio risk. Confusing mining stocks with silver itself is another pitfall. These stocks depend on company performance as much as silver prices, adding another layer of risk. Finally, buying based on hype or fear often leads to mistakes. Headlines, social media, or sudden price spikes can create urgency, but decisions should be based on understanding, not emotion. Be aware of these pitfalls helps beginners approach silver with a clear, realistic mindset. Now, silver is best seen as a satellite position rather than a core holding. It complements other assets like stocks, bonds, or real estate, rather than forming the foundation of a portfolio. Its main role is diversification. Silver behaves differently from traditional financial assets, helping smooth portfolio fluctuations. It's not a shield, but it can add balance, especially during market uncertainty. Volatility is worth noting. Price swings can be more dramatic than traditional assets, depending on whether you hold physical silver, ETFs, or mining stocks. Awareness of this helps set realistic expectations. Balance is key. Silver should complement a broader mix of investments, giving exposure to different market dynamics without dominating the portfolio. Silver isn't a one-size-fits-all. What works for one person may not work for another. The best approach is understanding the asset before worrying about timing or short-term price moves. Before choosing a product, decide on the structure first: physical silver, ETFs, or mining stocks, and how it fits your goals and risk tolerance. Clarity here makes all the difference. Learning is the most valuable step. Take time to understand the options, risks, and behavior of silver. Knowledge builds confidence and prevents emotion-driven mistakes. If you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Share your questions or experiences with silver investing. I would love to hear from you and continue the conversation. Let's together make better financial decisions.